And moving forward, it is so important that we do an acknowledgement of traditional lands. Royal Roads University acknowledges that the campus is located on the traditional lands of the Cosapsun, Esquimalt, and Lekwungen Songhees ancestors and families. It is with gratitude that we now learn and work here, where the past, present, and future of Indigenous and non-Indigenous students, faculty, and staff come together. So today's session, Doctor of Business Administration, how to turn a valid research problem into a strong and competitive initial doctoral proposal. I am joined here by the program head of the DBA, Dr. Hassan Wafai. Welcome, Hassan. I think you're on mute.
Is that better now? Okay, I was saying thank you, Imara, and hello everyone. Thanks for joining today. Today it's the second part of the session. So today, for those who really interested, who really start working on their proposal, and they have something to work on. The agenda for today, we will talk. After we know each other, and we'll talk why DBA program. We're gonna talk about the current DBA students, and then we dive deep into how to build your initial proposal. That is the key, or that's the main purpose of this session. And toward the end, we will have more a dialogue around your own research problems, and that part will not be recorded. With that, so why DBA, why RRU-DBA? RRU-DBA program will help you lead change in your industry or field. And we emphasize this. We would like to attract colleagues who are ready to lead change in their industry. It's, again, it's beyond career advancement. It is beyond an organization. It goes to the industry. Through the DBA program and beyond, after the DBA program, you will work on your brand as a subject matter expert, as a scholar in your area, that you are able to develop original management research that advanced management research and practices. So the focus of DBA program on management research, and it is a broad term. The term management research, it's a broad term that include organizational research, economy, even political aspect related to business and economy. And the purpose of that is, again, to advance management research and also practices. And this is why we're looking to see contribution to both theory and practice through your doctoral research. Be part of Royal Road community of management researchers. As a doctoral student, you will work with other researchers. You will be part of that community, and you will not just Royal Road community, you will be part of a wider community of researchers. And we will, through your program, we will try to bring you all together. Just in August, we had the first doctoral conference, national doctoral conference, where all doctoral students came all over Canada to Royal Road, of course, virtually, to present their work. And we are planning to do this conference in the years to come again. Develop a high leadership capacity to consider wider social, environmental, and legal concern. So through your research, you will have the opportunity to challenge basic assumption, to challenge taken for granted epistemological, ontological assumption. And these assumptions are related to wider social, environmental, and legal concern. And that is important. And that is what we expect from our colleagues. So one of the common question I always have is, what is the difference between a DBA program, Doctor of Business Administration, and master degree, MBA? For example, or executive MBA, or any master degree. Is it similar to the master degree? Is it about courses, and we do the courses, we do the assignment, and then we walk on the stage, everything fine. No, it's not. No, it's not. Of course, there are certain differences in terms of the structure, whereas master degree is a 1 year, a DBA is 3-4 years. Certainly, there is a difference in terms of the time, but there's also deeper differences in the purpose and the intent of the program. When you do your master degree, the purpose is to lead organization, is to advance your career. That's what you would. That's why perhaps you did your MBA or your master degree. You want to advance your career. You want to join maybe different industry. But for the DBA, as I mentioned, it's not about advancing career only. It goes beyond that. It's about leading a change in the industry. It's about becoming a subject matter expert in your industry. It's about contributing to human knowledge, about contributing to specific body of knowledge, to become a scholar practitioner. So it is certainly, there's a difference between the intent of a master degree and the intent of doing a DBA program. Also, in terms of curriculum design, the MBA or master degree focuses on applying knowledge. You learn HR model, you go to your organization to apply them, correct? You learn strategy, how to formulate a strategy, you analyze environment, you plan, you go and apply them. It's a focus in the MBA program or in the master program is to apply knowledge, where the focus in a DBA program is to produce knowledge. The idea in the DBA program, in any doctoral program actually, it's to produce knowledge, it's to contribute to human knowledge. And that's a big difference. So it goes beyond understanding and applying. It's critiquing it and challenging it and come up with a new set of principle or models or knowledge that will contribute to existing literature. The other question I always have, it's what is the difference between PhD, professional doctorate, the conventional professional doctorate, and professional doctorate and RRU-DBA doctorate. I'm sure you are familiar with conventional PhD program. That's a most common doctoral program, PhD. And also there are conventional, I would call them conventional DBA program. These are course-based program, like an extended version of executive MBA. And we are comparing our DBA, RRU-DBA, with the PhD, conventional PhD and conventional DBA. Remember, the key unique feature of RRU-DBA, it's the hybrid nature. It's a combination. It combines the strengths of conventional PhD with the focus of applied conventional professional doctorate. So in that sense, I will make the comparison here. So in terms of program design, conventional PhD, it's very much oftentimes actually non-modular. It's very much research focused in a conventional PhD program, while in a professional DBA program, it's mainly modular. It's a credit base, it's taught courses, it's about taught courses. As I said, it is enlarged, enhanced version of executive MBA. RRU-DBA program is still modular and credit rated, but it's a research focus. So courses only in the first year. The rest of the program is about your research, and courses are designed to help you start your research. So it's a research-focused program. In that sense, it combines the research intensity of a conventional PhD with the focus of applied DBA. Outcome emphasis, RRU-DBA here, the last column, if you see that, the last column, RRU-DBA, it's applied research, focus as outcome, focus applied research, a focus on contribution to theory and practice, both of them. While in PhD, you focus only on practice, and professional doctorate, you focus only on professional practice. Sorry, in conventional PhD, you focus on contribution to theory In a professional doctorate, you focus on contribution to professional practices. Royal Road DBA, you focus on both theory and practices. Preparation for employment and further study. PhD, when someone does PhD, meaning that that person is trying to get into academia, because PhD program prepares graduate to start their academic job. However, in Canada, 80% of PhD graduate, they don't end up in academic jobs. Professional doctorate, it's mainly for professional working in the industry and would like to continue working in the industry. Now, the Royal Road DBA combines both. Royal Road DBA, since it's a research intensive, so it could help graduates to enter academia, but at the same time will allow graduates to continue their job if they wish in the industry. So the outcome or preparation for employment for the Royal Road DBA, it focuses on professional and academic career, both of them. In terms of methodology, Royal Road DBA, it acknowledged different methodological approach, not just the traditional approach that starts normally from a gap in literature, but also recognize the more, I would say, non-conventional approach when you start your research based on real-life problem, not just based on a gap in the literature. In terms of knowledge dissemination, Royal Road DBA emphasize the ability to communicate the outcome of your research to both professionals and academics. Whereas in a conventional PhD, the target is to publish in a non-peer-reviewed journal. That means the target is to communicate the research, your research, to academics. In a professional doctorate, the target or the goal is to communicate your research to practitioners. Royal Road DBA, since it's a hybrid, so it allows graduates to give them the opportunity to communicate their research outcome to both academics and professionals. Finally, in terms of professional capacity autonomy, Royal Road DBA focus on producing scholar practitioners who are able to use research to make change in their field or sector. Does that make sense? Give me just a hint. You good? Are you following me? Okay. Thank you, Philip. What about the rest? Give me some hint. Thumb up. There you go. Thank you. Thank you, Carolina. Okay, we'll continue. Okay, the admission requirement, as we discussed, 7 years of professional experience, of which 5 at management level, and a relevant master degree. We discussed that in the first session, so I don't want to go through the details of this. The focus of this today, the focus of our session today is on initial proposal. Let me here just try it. Initial proposal. But if you have any other question about any other supporting document, please feel free to reach to Imara, to Tracy. They are the best people to support you with that. Okay, I still have this red things that I did, which I try here. Okay, clear all drawing. There you go. Okay, so as I said, our enrollment advisors, and you have here Tracy with us from Royal Road. And of course, you can reach to Imara, and Imara will connect you to Tracy as well. They will be available to provide support as you going through other research, other admission requirement. They give you in-depth program details, how to go through the process, information about campus, student service, where I want to live, all these details, even connecting with us If you want to discuss your research, they will connect you with me directly. If you are interested to connect with any other faculty, they will help you as well. Okay, with that, I would like now to get started with giving you a little bit of idea about how does the journey look like. RRU-DBA journey, how does it look like? Actually, I see it as a liberating. It's and feel free to let us know if you want to talk with our students. They will perhaps will give you more insight into the journey, but it is a liberating. And when I say liberating, it's about helping you to think critically, helping you to dive deep into your area of interest, defining gaps and trying to find answers that address the gap and contribute to theory and literature, both theory and literature. So I will say it's a liberating journey. Here's a picture of our first cohort. This cohort now almost in their second year. Half of them, they already did the candidacy exam and they're working toward the final proposal. You could see the final proposal, it's almost in the second year. They submitted initial proposal that you're working on right now. And now they are, after they finish all coursework, after they did the candidacy exam, they were working with their committee to work on the final version of the proposal. Here's some pictures of the on-campus residency, and we are planning to have another on-campus residency in February. We're so excited about that, very excited, having on-campus residency in Victoria in February. As Imara mentioned last session, our campus, perhaps one of the most beautiful campus in Canada, maybe in North America as well. We had a fantastic group of students, and we're very proud of our colleagues. We don't call them students, actually, we call them colleagues. We work with them. Our cohort ranged between 12 to 18, anything between 12 to 18, but we don't want to go above that. And sometimes for the 18 itself, we break them into two cohorts for some classes. So it's a very intimate, very small group. And the idea is to build that network, a safety net for you and your colleagues to work together and to support each other. Now, the proposal. Okay, I see here there are, I would like to ask a question, and please, before I go through the proposal, I want to know how many of you have started working on the proposal, and just give me like a sign, a hands up or a thumb up. Just let me, or you put in a chat. How many of you have started to? Okay, I've started my proposal. Asil, great, thank you, Asil. Bob, early stages, that's good. That's still fine with me. And Caroline, yes, thank you. Great. And when I say start working on the proposal, it doesn't mean that you have a draft. I'm not saying that you have a draft to share. I'm saying that you have a kind of an idea. This is a kind of research area I would like to go. I would like to investigate. That's an early start, and that's okay. Okay, I see it. I would like to work based on his or her master thesis. Great. Okay, so the initial research proposal, what we're looking for, and actually this is relevant to any other research proposal. So we're looking for 5-page. In this 5-page, you will need to define a research problem, what we call the researchable problem. Based on this problem, you will need to formulate a research question, a tentative research question. You will need, the second point, you will need, looking for here something to note here. Okay, can you see here my mouse here? Okay, Okay, so define researchable problem. Explain the importance of the problem. Why the problem that you are proposing is important. Explain how the intended research problem will likely contribute to management practice and research. And you will support that with key highlights from literature. And finally, explain how the intended research relates to your career goals and objectives. Let's dive deep into each of these points. So the first one, define a researchable problem. So how to define a researchable problem? Researchable problem can be based on your observation or can be based on the literature. For example, maybe you're working in construction sector for the last 30 years, 20 years, and you notice that, you know, construction industry is slow in adopting technology. And that's true. You notice that. How did you notice that? Perhaps you notice that through your work. You know, I mean, when you apply new technology, it takes forever. And there's a lot of politics, and there's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of, and you notice that. You said, well, there's a problem, and this is really, and I am in the industry for 20 years, and this seems to be a problem. If we were able to adopt that and this, we will be in better shape. Now that's a problem. That's a researchable problem. Is correct. Or alternatively, that's one way. The other way, you could say, well, you know what? Did master, I did some research, I'm interested, and I found that, like, based on the literature, you know, scholars, researchers actually highlighted that construction industry is actually slow in adopting technology. Or maybe you read in a newspaper, you read maybe now and COVID that workplace is changing. Workplace behavior, workplace norm is changing. That's really something that is documented in the literature. And you dig a little bit deep, yes, the way we work has changed, and this continue to change. And that is a problem because organizations are trying to adopt how this will be, how this will fit. That's a problem that you noticed, and also based on the literature. So this is the key. The most important thing is to define a researchable problem. Now, regardless whether you have observed that problem in reality, or you came to know this problem through reading, you still need to research it. You still need to make sure that this problem has not been addressed before. Well, let's say, well, construction is slow in taking in or adopting technology. Well, this topic has been researched for the last 20 years, actually. And there are a lot of literature around that. So how I would contribute to existing literature? What is that I'm trying to achieve here? Is that I'm looking at the leadership attitude toward technology adoption, or perhaps organization structure and how that relate to technology adoption, or maybe the type of technology that is not that's not successful in construction? And the other example, workplace behavior and workplace norm. Well, you read about this. This is in a newspaper. Now, what I'm trying to research here is that how organization will adapt to that, or should I investigate the type of change that is emerging post-COVID, or how organization will respond to this change? You know, you need to be a little bit focused, and you need to you need to support that based on the literature, because whatever researchable problem you are interested in, you need to make sure it's still a problem. It's still a valid problem. That means no one has addressed this problem before. In the proposal, I'm not looking to see that something like an intensive full literature review. I understand that's not, maybe you don't have access to that literature. I just wanted to see evidence that you put some time toward researching the problem. That means you will include a couple of highlights from the literature. And that's okay. Once you are in the program, you will have time to work and spend time more on researching the full body of literature, and perhaps you will change, you will tweak, depends on existing literature. So what we need is that you demonstrate that you have researched the problem. You did some research on the problem. And feel free to ask me any question as I'm moving on. And I'm not looking at a chat though. But Imara, if there's any question, you could just let me know how I could pause and address the question. So also you need to consider the scope of the problem. So it shouldn't be very broad. It shouldn't be too narrow. For example, how to improve management practice. Well, you could say, well, management practice need to be improved. That's correct. That's an issue. That's a problem. But that's too broad to be a researchable doctoral problem. So you need to make sure that the problem is precise. It's the scope. It's not too broad. It's not too narrow. One way to do this is to articulate the problem in a couple of statements that will help you. We call this problem statements. Problem statement. It helps you to understand the boundary of your problem, the scope of the problem. It's to force yourself to articulate the problem you're interested in a couple of statements. And based on that statement, you may want to think about question that broadly capture the problem. We call this research question. So we discussed two examples, correct? The construction industry, we know based on our observation or based on literature that construction industry is slow in adopting technology. That's a problem. Now, we did some research and we found that this problem is still valid, though there is a very rich literature around that. Now, I would like to articulate the problem. I would like to define the scope. What's the new? What things I would like to add to adopt? Perhaps I would like to see the feasibility of augmented technology in construction. Let's say that. Let's say just for example, and that is very specific. Because this is a new technology, maybe there's little research around it, and that's something that it's promising. I would like to know a little bit more about this technology. Just for record, this technology has been researched as well, but just for example. Now, the research question is, then you could think about, it's about what are the barriers to implement the technology, perhaps, or how organization could make use of technology. So you think about the question that capture what you want to do. Workplace behavior. We said that organizations are now dealing with a new way of work, a new norm, correct? People working from home and different dynamics, and possibly some of them couldn't come back because there's a social commitment, there's kids at home, and there's daycares, and COVID always there. The workplace behavior are changing. Now, that's a problem. Yes, this is a problem that is still there are a lot of interest. Now, let's think about a question that capture perhaps an aspect of that problem. How would organization react to changing workplace behavior? Or what are the changes in workplace behavior post COVID-19? Because people after COVID, or maybe there is no end of COVID, maybe it's becoming endemic. So how do workplace behaviors change, or how would change in the next 5 years or 10 years? So here you're trying to define an aspect, specific aspect, and you build a research question. And again, this is going to take time. You're going to spend a year or 2 years in the program thinking about this question and reiterating the question. And is it how or what? And if I said what kind of what? Is it what explaining or what exploring? And because every what will have a different strategy. And that's okay. And that's what we will do in the program. Any questions so far? Ladies and gentlemen, any question? You're doing fine? Give me just a hint that you're okay, you're doing fine, you're still with me. There you go, Imara, Philip. Any other hint here? Or chat on the chat saying, hey, thank you, Bob. Just saying, okay, just saying you are here, you're still here. Okay. I miss the classroom environment actually when I see people faces, but you know, here with the technology, I can see the gesture, the thumb up, and the note makes me feel that you're still with me. Okay, so once you define the problem, then we need to talk about how important the problem is. And that's the importance of the problem. Why this particular problem is important? Is that because you've been through this before? Is that enough? Is that because this is your work issue and you had a problem with your boss about it? That's important, yes. But you need to build a case that this problem is actually important. And by addressing this problem, you will contribute to theory and practice. So it's not enough to say it's based on my experience. Well, this is a problem. Maybe it's a company specific problem. Maybe it's because your company. So to discuss, you identify or to address the importance of the problem in your proposal, you will need to let us know whether the problem is under research. If it's under research, that means it's important. That means it still needs there's a need for someone to address this problem, and this is important. And that is perhaps the most important aspect in that section. It's that this issue that is under research. And also by addressing the problem that you propose, you will contribute to existing practices. You will contribute to industry or sector. You will improve not just your organization. You will improve the practice in your country or in your sector or in your industry, and so on and so on. So you will need to outline the importance of the problem, outline the importance of the problem through outlining its potential contribution to literature and through outlining its potential contribution to practice, both of them. Making sense? Good. Okay. And we're always mentioning literature, and that's true. You will need to use literature to support your argument, whatever argument is it. In defining the problem, in outlining how important it is, you will need to support your argument with literature. Now, when I receive a proposal that has no references, that is not a strong proposal. And oftentimes, either we say, sorry, that's not, we can't continue here, or we connect with the applicant and say, you know what, you need to resubmit it again. So your proposal should be an evidence-based document. Include key highlights. I'm not saying for literature review. We understand that you may not be able to access peer-reviewed articles, but you can access the abstract of the peer-reviewed articles. Abstracts are available online. And all what we need to show us that you put some effort researching articles. We need to understand how you propose research is positioned in the literature. Again, you will need to demonstrate your knowledge of relevant work in your area of research. Let me emphasize this point again, once again. It's important for your proposal to be evidence-based. And when we say evidence-based, since you're talking about a specific problem, you need to highlight why it is important. It's good that you use your own experience, and you don't need to reference your own experience. But once you start to support your argument with other experience or other research, you must reference that. You must cite all information you use in your proposal. That's the critical, citing all the information that you use in your proposal. Any questions so far? Okay. Now, once you define the researchable problem, you discuss the importance of the problem, provide some key highlights from literature. It will be nice to tell us in a few sentences how you imagine yourself conducting the research. How you're planning to address the problem, include brief overview of the sources, possible source of data. We do understand that research design, it should be a new topic for you, and we have courses in the program that you will go through in order to learn more about research design, how to design your research, qualitative, quantitative, research paradigm, and so on. So all what we need to have a couple of sentences that demonstrate that you put some thought toward this particular area. Okay, now let me give you some example from our existing student. So this is Nathan Banda. Please meet Nathan Banda. Nathan is a first-year doctoral student. I mean, he joined with the first cohort. Now he's a second year, actually. Nathan Banda. Nathan has a MSN in nursing. He has 15 years of experience in healthcare. He is working in Alberta. He's leading a nursing unit in Alberta. He's very busy nowadays, very, very busy. Their job is hectic with the spread of COVID. And but he's still managing his time and commitment, work commitment, to continue doing his doctoral study. And you could see this is maybe this is an opportunity to highlight how flexible we will be, especially after you finish your courses. That means we understand that sometimes life can't get in the way, and you need some break to do some work, and then you come back. That's totally fine. So Nathan is leading, as I said, a nursing unit in Alberta. Oh. So what's a research problem there? Now, Nathan, from his own observation, from his own experience, in 2018, he noticed that he lost 40% of his registered nurses over 2 months. Well, 40% of his nurses working under his management, and 40, not necessarily under his, in his unit in general, in his area, actually, to be more precise, in over 2 months. Now, replacing these nurses, it's not easy. So hard, so hard. So he went to the literature, see why that happened. So something wrong, something went wrong. How can we retain nurses? How we can keep nurses, especially in rural area where Nathan is working. So the problem he defined that there is a perpetual nursing retention challenges in rural area in Canada. And that's correct. So that's based on his own experience. But he went to the literature and he found there's no literature. There's no supporting articles, a lot of knowledge that support why that is happening or how to deal with that. So based on this problem, then Nathan said, what are the factors affecting nursing retention in rural area? You see, he designed a research question that captured the problem, captured an aspect of the problem. What are the factors? He's focusing on the factors that lead to or affecting nursing retention. That's one example of a research problem that that's in the DBA program. The second example, Jason Major. Jason is in his first year. Now, Jason has a Master of Art in Security, Defense, Management, and Policy. And I selected examples, not necessarily MBA. I understand because a lot of the question I have, I don't have MBA. Is that a relevant master degree? Yes, it is a relevant master degree as far as it's relevant to your research. But of course, if you have MBA, it is a generalist degree, and it's relevant to any research. So, Master of Art in Security, Defense, and Management and Policy. Jason, he's had 30 years of experience in Canadian Air Force, work in different positions. He's actually recently, after he joined the DBA program, he had administrative job in the government in Ottawa. Now, Jason research problem. Jason argued that COVID-19 pandemic has caused a significant shock and period of uncertainty to aviation industry in Canada. Well, anyone could argue against this? This seems to be very, very clear a problem, correct? Aviation industry is struggling. Air Canada lost, if I'm not correct, if I don't bring a specific data here, I'm not sure about, but lost a large portion of their employees during COVID. WestJet, the same. That all large airlines in Canada are struggling. While there are other airlines in North America, they're doing fine. They were able to survive the shock. They seems to be more resilient than Canadian airline, or why some airlines were able to actually survive, and not just survive, they did not lose a single employee, and other airline struggled. This is certainly an issue. So Jason, the initial research question, I say the initial research question, how can COVID-19 lessons learned, best practices and resilience be used to help Canadian aviation management improve their systems and business model, enabling them to be more resilient going forward? Actually, this initial research question has changed, has evolved. Now we focus on what are the factors that contribute to the resilience of the aviation industry. Now, my third example today, it's TASHA Brooks. TASHA is also from the first cohort. She is in the second year. TASHA, she is Indigenous researcher. She is working currently at Vancouver Island University. She is a director of Cowichan Tribes Fishing Enterprise. As you can see, TASHA has an MBA degree, and TASHA research problem is about Canadian Indigenous entrepreneurship participation rate. She noticed that Indigenous entrepreneurs, they don't, compared to non-Indigenous entrepreneurs, they don't actually contribute, or sorry, they don't participate in entrepreneurial programs offered by the government. There are many entrepreneurial programs, supporting programs, funding programs, and she noticed that, well, because that's related to her community, correct? She noticed that Indigenous entrepreneurs are not, or the percentage, it's low compared to non-Indigenous participation, and that's according to Statistics Canada. She supported that with number from Statistics Canada. So the research question TASHA is proposed is why, despite increasing entrepreneurial support surface available for Indigenous entrepreneurs in Canada, a disproportionately lower number of Indigenous people engage in entrepreneurship. I mean, TASHA, I think 2 weeks ago, she passed her candidacy exam, and now she's working toward her proposal. And by the way, I mean, TASHA also got a scholarship to support her research. Nathan is on the process of getting his scholarship as well. Now, these are 3 examples. We're very proud of all our students, and every time, perhaps next time, I'll bring 3 different examples. So every webinar, we introduce new colleagues and new research. To know more about our students' research, please feel free to visit student website. We have a specific website to feature our students and their research. So feel free to visit our student website and read their research proposals, where they are, I mean, what they are researching. Now, here's some advices, tips, as you are considering your research proposal. Research your passion. Passionate research often results in thoughtful and rigorous research. This is not, I always say this, this is not a quick, short journey. This is not a master degree. You finish your programs in a year. No, this is a long journey. And it's a rewarding journey. Through this journey, you will define your professional identity, or redefine your professional identity as a subject matter expert in a specific field. So you really wanted to spend the time researching something you are passionate about. And that is also an opportunity that is available through the DBA program, not necessarily through any other conventional PhD program. In conventional PhD program, you don't have the luxury to select a topic that is aligned with your passion, because you probably will be working with a supervisor who will tell you you need to do a research that's aligned to my own research agenda, because I'm paying you for your tuition. While in the DBA program, you have the opportunity to research your passion. So research your passion, very important, and give it careful thought. What area you wanted to research. Know your motivation. Why a DBA program? Yeah, I mean, we do encourage colleagues to approach us and to apply, but also we encourage them to be careful. This is a long journey, and we want to give you the best advice. It's a big investment, and we appreciate that. We acknowledge that it's a big investment, not just financial investment. It's an investment in your time, in your, it's a family investment. It's a big commitment. And through this commitment, you will redefine again, your professional identity. Now, so why do you want to do that? I'm not here questioning your motive. No, I'm asking you to be clear about your motive. Say, well, something that, well, I need to change my career, or I wanted to join academia, or I want to teach, or I'm passionate about a certain topic, and that's enough. But be clear about your motivation. Lastly, identify your competitive advantage in terms of research. Now, I mean, TASHA research, she chose a research topic, indigenous entrepreneurship. She has competitive advantage. I can't do this research because I'm not indigenous. She has certain competitive advantage, and she is the right person to do that kind of research. Jason, he spent 30 years in military as a pilot. He's very expert in aviation industry, and he selected a topic that is related to aviation industry. He has competitive advantage, and he built on that competitive advantage. Nathan, he is a nurse. He worked as a nurse, as a master. He's a professional nurse. He's now leading a nursing unit. He has a competitive advantage to do his research in his area of expertise. So again, be clear about your competitive advantage. Okay, now how are we doing on terms of time? We're doing good. Now,
thanks for asking.
Oh, that's my Alexa. Or checking time. Okay. What you need to consider as you're building your proposal, the structure of the proposal. I got this question oftentimes. Is there a specific structure of the proposal? No, there is no specific structure. But we normally would like to see the research question up front. We normally, I say normally, but if you want to go, you want to be innovative, and that's okay. But we normally would like to see the research question up front. So we know what we know the context. So everything will relate to the research question or research problem or problem statement. We would like to see the key highlight from literature. We need to see clear argument why your research is important. These are very important elements. But how you structure that is totally up to you. The length of the proposal, we said 5 pages. So, I mean, we are not, I mean, some people think that, well, you know, by giving us like 20 pages, that's certainly I'm doing great. No, doesn't mean that you're doing, no. So we would like to see 5 pages, and that's the length we would like to see. We want to see your ability to write precisely and concisely. And that's part of the way we assess writing style and writing skills. Are you able to write at a doctoral level? Citation and references, this is very important. I mean, when you use any information or data that is you don't own, you need to cite the data. Now, we normally, at in Royal Road, in Faculty of Management, we use ABA style. Now, use whatever style you like. That's totally fine. ABA style is a specific referencing style. For those who graduated from Europe, perhaps they use Harvard style, referencing style. For those who are working in the industry, perhaps use Chicago style. That's totally fine. Whatever style you would like, even if you don't have any style, you need to have a citation. You will learn once once you start the program, you will learn specific style, and you will build expertise toward that. But in your initial proposal, and again, this is critical, the proposal we receive that's not properly cited, it's automatically rejected. Clarity and readability, ability to write, it's write at the doctoral level, it's critical. So we would like to see evidence through your proposal that you have writing skills that is necessary for you to succeed in the program. Any questions so far? Do I have any question, Imara, on the chat? Okay, now let's take a quick exercise together. And I think at this point, we will stop recording, correct? Okay, so we stop recording.